the mission is to make sure we showcase and highlight Black artists in their truest form.
We have Janine Seals here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I feel like art and all of its forms, it speaks without words, and it gives us a way to communicate.
And so art has healing properties in it, and that's very important, especially in this day and age. This summer was probably the most horrendous summer of my life. So we were talking about my children. I lost my son. And so going through the process myself has been, it's like you're a totally different person. You're not the same person. And so reinventing who I am and trying to keep his legacy alive and not fall apart. Everywhere I go is a memory of him, but it still doesn't bring back him, you know? It just doesn't, and it's a process.
You're listening to the Sandbox Collective Podcast, hosted by Leilani Wells. I'm a creative director and content marketing strategist, and this show is for the builders, innovators, creatives, and entrepreneurs creating in real time. Come tap in, get inspired, and move right into action. Welcome to the Sandbox. Let's play.
All right. Thank you all for joining us today at the Sandbox Collective. Thank you, Janine Seals. We have Janine Seals here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, and on such short notice, too.
Yes, there's a backstory.
Yeah. I'm really happy that this happened, really grateful that this happened, because I've been wanting to interview for a minute now. Janine Seals is the executive director of the Black Arts and Cultural Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I met you just a short time ago. What was it, like a month or two ago?
It was just a month ago. Yeah, because we did the taping in my space. And so I'm like, how come I've never met you?
Yeah. And I'm so happy we finally did. The taping that you're referring to is what was with Public Media Network, and it was in celebration of Black History Month. And we did it in your center, and I walk into the center and I see this beautiful art, and then right where we're about to film, I look to my right, and there is Jesus. Anytime I see of Jesus on the, I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful, beautifully done.
It does. You go, oh, you look at it like that. It's stunning. It's a stunning piece, and it's got scripture in it, and it's not the crucifixion per se, but it is Jesus, making his way through, the world, if you will. 2,000 some years ago. It's a beautiful piece. Yeah. James Bailey did that piece. It is amazing.
Yeah. It took I couldn't breathe that day. I was so sick. I was like, it took my breath. No, my breath was already taken away. But seeing that and feeling the way I did and it was right around the area where I was going to shoot. So
I think you walked right past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect, because it did take your breath away. You're like, whoa, that is gorgeous. And it does. It's stunning, and it stops you in your tracks, because it's a message inside of each area is something else in the scriptures that relates to, Jesus's walk. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're going to auction it off too this year. As part of our 40th. Yeah.
Invite me.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you guys choose your pieces there? Like every piece seemed like it was very intentional.
So every month I try to have a theme. And it went through Christmas. So it was kind of, apropos to go through the Christmas season for Christians. And so Mr. Bailey, all of his artwork is kind of depicting spiritual elements. And that was the goal, is to try to find work that depicted different spiritual aspects of Jesus's walk. And the other young lady, her work was very much more scripture based. And so her pictures there was two birds. So there was this, I think they were the doves that flew out, when during the the ark.
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark, thank you. And that was her artwork was very depictive of that, and it was very earth based. So the two worked very well together, and we just have a different theme per month. This month for Black History Month is about the legends. So there are actually 5 individuals that started the organization, and we just asked Mr. James Palmore. He was one of the original. He's the last living founder of the Black Arts and Cultural Center. So I felt like we needed to really kind of focus on him and his artwork, and I allowed him to just pick the artists that he wanted, and he picked some phenomenal artists. Mr. Harris, he was an artist in the Kalamazoo public school system for years. He taught both my children art, and his work is just like, the faces look like they can open up their mouth and talk to you. That's just how realistic they are. But you can tell that they're artwork. You know, there's art, artistic behind it, artistic creativity behind it. And so every month we try to have a theme and try to maneuver it around things that are important to the Black culture. So, for example, next month we're doing Merze's Tate, and the young ladies did photographs with vintage cars. And so they reenacted different cars, beautiful. They reenacted these photographs that were taken, 50, 60, 70 years ago. And the young ladies really enjoyed that. And so Sonia Holland was the mastermind behind that. So that's going to be our March. And then April is going to be all about women's health and women's health disparities. Oh, wow. So, yeah, I try to find themes that are very... things that are going on in our community that are important in our community.
I had to hear more about the women's health because you've already started. Is there anything that you can share right now that's not a secret about that? Because that's an amazing thing you're doing.
So we're doing a book read with me with the Kalamazoo Public Library. And there's a book that we're talking about, and the book is kind of indicative of a nurse who went into a rural area and realized that there was some health disparities for women that were having children. So, the birthing process along with prenatal care just wasn't, there wasn't enough help, wasn't enough medical care for these women. And so what I decided to do is take that and run with it. And so to talk about the health disparities that Black women face even today in 2026. Now, the book was written like in the 70s. And so you're thinking about it, 1973, that was over 50 years ago, and we're still fighting some of those same disparities when it comes to healthcare when women. So I'm going to have doulas. We're going to have a talk, kind of a talk back, roundtable discussion, and we're going to have a couple of doulas, some healthcare professionals, and then just some individuals that have been affected by, women's health and health disparities, and then just talking about good health and what we need to do to stay healthy as Black women in our community. We've got environmental changes, we've got food changes. So just kind of really talking about a lot of those things and the disparities, especially, with childbirth and the birthing process. The artwork is just based on women artwork. And one of the pieces is by my ex, she used to be my program director at the BACC, Danny Lewis, and her piece is phenomenal. It's actually sitting in our space now, and it's a depiction of her face and different facial expressions, and she uses drywall compound to create those faces. It's amazing. She does some amazing work. She was in Art Prize a couple years ago. She was in it last year too. So her piece is going to be kind of the centerpiece, and we're going to work around that. And there's several other artists that I've chosen, but it's also open to the public. So I'm going to try to have six or seven artists in for April, and then we're going to have an opening the first Friday in April. Wow. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot. Yeah.
How long have you guys been there at that center?
We've the organization's been around for 40 years.
Okay.
We've been in that space about 4.5, going on 5 years now, and we were up in the back corner, hidden away, and this space became available. And at the time, the executive director says to me, I was the chair at the time, she's like, Janine, we got to look at this space. And I'm looking at it like, perfect. But in its raw form, you look at it like, what are you going to do with this? And so we gutted it. We took down the walls. Wow. My son did all of the carpentry work inside of it. He did the floors and the walls and painted and everything. Wow. So yeah, it's a great testament and sentiment that, keeps his memory alive. So, when we got into that space, we decided to make it more into a gallery space as well, so that we can showcase those artists. And that's the goal of the organization. The mission is to make sure we showcase and highlight Black artists in their truest form, no matter what the medium is. So it could be sculptures, it can be, art, graphic design, visual art.
That was what I was going to ask you next. Like, what different forms of art do you guys really showcase
You
there?
name it, we will showcase it. For example, the one I was talking about for April, the young lady Danny that I was speaking of, hers is a it's a 3D depiction of her using that drywall compound and creating those images. And we do photography as well. We had a young lady who did some amazing photography. And then moving forward, we want to really focus on different genres. So we want to focus on music and even the theater is really one of the areas I wanted to kind of get back into. And so theater is going to be a big push for the second half of the year. So we're working with Face Off Theater Company. We're going to have a youth development workshop. We're going to highlight, there's a youth performance coming up later this year. I think it's in July. And so it's kind of a Cinderella, hip-hop Cinderella thing. And I really want to push that because we've got some young talent out there that we really need to kind of explore and bring it to the forefront. And they do 1 or 2 shows each year, for youth. So at least 1 a year for youth. But I want to really focus on more of that. We have children that go to the Civic in the summer, but why can't we do the same thing?
Yeah.
And the Civic has a great program, but I would love to have that same program, in our space so that our young people can, take advantage of it. And the issue is funding. We can't, a lot of our kids just can't afford what it costs to go to, the Civic. So the Boys and Girls Club make it free for them. And they go every year. 2 of my granddaughters went in last 2 years, and they love it. And it's a great exposure, great way to get into theater.
I love it. I wanted to ask you your perspective on something I've been talking to some of the other guests about, which is in the world of like arts and creativity and just being a creative or being someone who does something like we had a makeup artist and a fashion stylist and someone who does, different acting, different characters and things of that nature. What do you feel like the effect on and the impact art has rather than just, this is a beautiful piece, like how it translates into somebody's life moving forward when they are maybe the artist or someone viewing the art. What do you feel as someone working in?
So that's a good question. There's 2 aspects that I see. I've got one artist who is, his art is very deep, and it's kind of he talks about it's a healing process for him in his artwork. So he's gone through a lot of different things, but most of his work looks like it's Egyptian, and he's got, like I have Nefertiti on. He's got a lot of work that looks very much like the Sphinx and Nefertiti and the Ankhs and all the different things that are in the Egyptian, heritage. He does a great job with that. There's another one who he went into this deep depression, and so his artwork, he takes his grandparent, he took a picture of his grandfather and he redid it, and it was called Soul Man. And it's got pictures of it. It's got an album cover in the corner. And what he said is that these are the things that his grandfather loved and that kept him happy. So during this depression, he thought, let me figure out what made, my ancestors happy. And that was what he did. He found some artwork. It was only a year into his art, creativity, and his work is phenomenal just after a year. But he was a way for him to really survive COVID, depression, sadness, loss. And so art has healing properties in it, and that's very important, especially in this day and age. So I see a lot of that in our artwork and in the artists that come through. And I think we should capitalize on those things and really pull from that.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, it feels like sometimes, and a lot of people say this, I don't have words for that, or, there's an emotion, but I can't quite describe it. I'm learning or discovering what I think or feel, and I'm learning of trying to figure out how to express something. And I feel like art and all of its forms, it speaks without words, and it gives us a way to communicate. And that's the beauty in that, right? When there's no words, there's art, right?
Exactly. There's an expression in there in every piece of art that comes from the heart of the artist. Yeah. So if you look at a piece of art and you're like, wow, I wonder what they were thinking with that. And, Mr. Bailey, he will walk you through each of his pieces. Wow. And talk about each of his pieces and how he came up with and the concept and what it means. And one of the pieces he has is a gentleman with his granddaughter sitting on his lap, and they're reading the Bible. And it says that how we will transcend history and biblical stories from generation to generation to generation. Just beautiful piece, beautiful. He's the one that did the Jesus picture. I don't want to call it Jesus picture, but
I know.
I don't know what else to call it. Yeah.
Portrait. I don't know. There's so much more in that painting as well. I was just so focused in on that portion, but there was so much more, and then we went off to film.
Yeah. You can literally stand and look at that particular piece for a long time, and he will walk through the different things and talk about what they mean, and it's just the depth of what he went into, because he's a pastor, obviously. And so, but he's not preaching it. He's just sharing those stories, biblical stories in the artwork. And they're just, I mean, there's so many of them. Like, I think there's 36 or 37 different, pieces in there that that scriptures in there that talk about the different depictions of Jesus's walk.
Wow. I'm looking forward to going back again.
Yeah.
Very, very soon.
It'll be back up next month.
Oh, okay.
Because the artwork that's up now is the legends. And so Mr. Palmer was like, well, it doesn't fit. And I'm like, it fits anywhere. So we'll be bringing it back out.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have a question for you about like you personally as far as art goes. Like, what has your art journey been? Have you traveled to look at art? Are there some memories that you can share about your experiences with it?
Ironically, not a lot. But then as I think about it, like when I was younger, we went to the Art Institute of Chicago. So I grew up in Chicago, the DuSable Museum, all these different places that were very interesting to me. But I just, when you're younger, you kind of like, oh, that's nice. But now I realize that there was a lot of history that I learned a long time ago about art. I mean, I used to write poetry. I do love music. I love music. I love to sing in the shower.
What is your favorite genre of music, or what are your favorites?
All of them. Nice. I gravitate towards gospel, but I love R&B. I love the new things, the new stuff that's out now. I can't wait to listen to. There's a new album coming out by not Angie Stone. She just.
Jill Scott.
Jill Scott, yes. I can't. She just did a Tiny Desk, so I cannot wait to blast that in the living room and watch it and sing all her stuff. But I like all music. Jazz kind of resonates in my soul, and then I didn't grow up on gospel music, but for whatever reason, I do love it. It definitely, speaks to me.
Beautiful. In the car and I was listening to it in the steam room earlier when I got kicked out.
I said, I think I need to get me a steam room.
Oh, yeah. You definitely should get a steam room. So the steam room actually was my friend Deanna. She shared with me what it did for her. So it's, and for those of you listening, it's like $140 on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Pop it up anywhere in your house. I happen to have it in my living room. I don't care. And there's a little chair in it. And you just use steam. I do it as much as I can. Like 3 times a week is good. I do it every day if I could. And then you just go in like 10 to 20 minutes. And if you start your day off like that, your skin will just glow. And then you also have like minimized stress through the whole day.
Oh,
the entire day is lowered stress, lowered anxiety. If you ever deal with anxiety, like just like whew, things just roll right off your shoulders.
I need that in my life then.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I tell all my friends, and when they come to visit, I'm like, okay, go steam. I try and, when they're in town staying here for a few days, and then the ones that actually steam, they go home and they're like, Lonnie, I bought my steam room.
Right.
Like, at first they're telling me I don't have space for it, and then when they use it, they're like, okay,
I'm gonna find space for this.
I live in my steam room.
I'll find some space. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah, yeah. What are some of your pleasures like that give you like, relaxation and things you love to do?
So music. I love music. I love to get in the car and blast the music as loud as possible, or anywhere, anytime, anywhere, music. I always have it playing in my office. It's always playing. I've got this huge speaker that's about this high, and it's always, I have to turn it down during the day, but it's always there. Lately, I've been into the line dancing. So we do fun. Line dancing on Tuesday nights. We're doing it now. Line dancing and hustles. I'm not good at them, but it's a great stress relief. Like, I never even thought about it being a stress relief. And then I like to work out. I've fallen off of the workout wagon, but I will be getting back on, because it's you put your music on in your headphones or your AirPods, and you just go there, kind of disappear. Yeah. So I'm working on my health, my self-care journey, because I've neglected that. So I'm working on that.
That's beautiful. I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, I'm transparent moment. Working on it. Yeah, because I think I put too much other stuff ahead, and we do that as moms and grandmothers and all these other things that we are. We put everything in front of ourselves. Yeah, and then when we're burned out, what do? You know, you can't always turn to a bottle of wine. You got to really figure out what will help you decompress in the day. Yeah, and you got to find those moments for yourself. And so I'm working on that.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I'm a definite work in progress with that for sure. I realized, especially with this project, like I realized that when I don't have anything left, then other people are affected. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't pour from an empty cup. I just said that this morning. I'm like, I'm going to fill my cup up so that I can pour into, more people, because my cup was dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back in the day, if you slowed down, you were called lazy. And,
Yes.
that word lazy, like from, my generation and the family I grew up with, and you know what I mean? Like the culture of that time and, all the things, it wasn't like, there was no self-care talk back then,
Nope,
so
there wasn't.
So you still, you still have to remind yourself it's okay to stop. And sometimes, me personally, I don't know how to like stop and shut my mind down, because you feel that guilt. Like, am I lazy? Am I not doing something? Like, there's no days off, right?
Yeah. I'm the same way.
Are you?
Yeah, and I've burned myself, the candle at both ends for so long. It's time to really focus on me. The aging process catches up with you quickly, and it reminds you that, okay, you're not 27 anymore, and you have to rest, you have to rejuvenate, you have to give your body time to rest and heal.
Yeah.
And my body usually just quits on me. Like, it'll just, and I'm like out for 2-3 days. Like with the worst, I've had COVID 3 times. My back has been out just because I'm not taking care of me, but I'm no good if I'm not good for the rest of the people that are around me if I'm not good. So we've got to remember that. I mean, I've watched my mom for years. She was a school teacher. She took care of us, and everybody had their own meal, whatever you wanted. I'm like, I don't eat roast beef, and so she'd make me something else.
Yeah.
So you watch it, and then you just naturally do the same thing. You emulate what you've seen growing up, and you're right. It was deemed lazy, if you're kicked back watching TV and doing nothing. So I always figure I've got to be moving.
Yeah, if you're a woman, you have to keep going, and you're taking care of everything, and if you're in the house, it doesn't matter. That's not a job.
Right. Oh, that's
if
the
you're
biggest
on your
job
feet all
ever.
day, it's a big, right? It's wild. It's wild. But I think all of us are learning. It's there's so much talk about self-care right now, and it's kind of fun. You feel now you almost feel proud of yourself instead of like how you were proud for work. You're like, I did self-care. I rested. My fashion stylist Danielle, who you just met, like Danielle was scolding me for not having enough like clothes for my like certain pieces in my closet for myself that she expected me to have, and she was like, okay. You are going to take care of yourself now, and this and that. No more of this not, having this piece or that piece. I was like, yes, ma'am, I'm in trouble and I must shop. Yes.
Give me a reason to shop.
Okay,
Give me a reason
I
to
will
shop. Exactly. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll shop. It's all right. If you say I have to, sure. Thank you.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
I agree.
So how many kids do you have?
I have 2 children, a boy and a girl, 38 and 36. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Did you raise them out here in Michigan?
Yep, in Kalamazoo. They both went to Kalamazoo Public Schools, and they both have 3 children. So
that's
I have
wonderful.
grandbabies. I love them. Oh, I love them. They range all the way from 14 to 2.
Wow.
A teenager. Oh,
Very
my word.
cool.
I love it. Yeah.
I would never guess you had a 14-year-old
It's
grandbaby.
crazy. Granddaughter.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy. I don't even feel like it. Yeah.
You don't look it. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's
Bless your heart. Thank
fantastic.
You. Thank you. And it's a testament to, good genes, first and foremost, but also trying to take care of myself, trying, trying to drink water, trying to get exercise, trying to be outside in the air. You know, but it's work in progress. We all are, though.
Do you ever do grounding out in the dirt or anything like that?
So I was just taught about that. I'm like, you want me to walk outside barefoot in the dirt? Okay. But at this point, I would howl at the moon. I really would. This summer was probably the most horrendous summer of my life. So I will do anything to heal from this summer. Anything.
What happened this summer?
We were talking about my children. I lost my son. So yeah, you never, ever, ever, ever expect that. Never. And
I'm so sorry.
I was shaken to my core, and then I'm like, okay, now what? Like every day is a struggle just to get up, and so that was what I was told to do, some grounding. And so, like I said, I would walk outside barefoot, howl at the moon. If you told me that would make me feel better, I will do that.
Yeah.
And so that's my goal when it warms up, because it's 27 degrees out at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will. I watched him take his last breath. So for me, being outside is I feel closer to that spirit, Yeah, it was unexpected. He was in a fight with a gentleman, and he had a medical emergency in the vehicle, in the police car. They put him in the car as if he were the perpetrator, and he was not. He was going to protect his children and his children's mother, and he was the one that perished. And it's just, you never know what that would feel like. You know, I've got my best friend, she lost her son 4 years ago. My other best friend lost her son 4 years ago. And so I was been with them through that process, but never did I think I would be in that process. Not ever, ever, never, never. And so going through the process myself has been, it's like you're a totally different person. You're not the same person. I'm not the same person I was July 6th.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that person anymore. I'm a totally different person. And so reinventing who I am and trying to keep his legacy alive and not fall apart every time I walk in my office, because he did my floors, he did the walls, you know, everywhere I go.
That was the son who did the whole...
Everywhere I go is a memory of him. He did my house. Everything in my house was redone. I mean, everywhere I go is a memory of him, but it still doesn't bring back him, you know? It just doesn't. And it's a process. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are a strong person.
Some days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not nice to have to be strong, is it?
No.
Yeah.
It's not easy either, you know, because people always expect you to be strong. They don't check on the strong people. And so everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so strong. You got up and spoke at your son's memorial. And I'm like, why wouldn't I? You know, why wouldn't I share my story of this amazing human that God blessed me with? You know, I was chosen to be this person's mother that bring him into this world. So why wouldn't I say thank you in front of the world? Thank you for these, you know, 35 years of his life. Thank you. But it wasn't like I went up there and was like, it wasn't an easy task. You know, it was one of those things, a mother, you never want to have to do as a mother. Never.
Yeah.
And to bury your child and walk through that process with their children. You know, that's the 14-year-old granddaughters. She and the other granddaughter was turning 10 the next day. So all these things, you know, you're like, holy cow, what?
Yeah.
And you have to walk through the grief with them as children. You know, I can imagine living without my father. I was a daddy's girl from to the top of my head to the tip of my toes. So these young ladies, their dad was part of their life. You know, he was a hands-on dad.
How old was your son?
35.
We just, you have a daughter too, right?
37.
Is your daughter's name Emily? Oh, wait. Okay. We just had, was that, am I mixing? Isn't this crazy?
I know what you're talking about. I don't think
that is so.
What's the?
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone right now. No, my very last guest, she lost her brother, and he was in his 30s, and she was just reflecting on her brave. She doesn't know how her mother spoke at the eulogy, and I'm just. This was just today.
My daughter's Tasia, no, but I know she wasn't.
Okay,
she wasn't.
okay,
a guest,
wow,
I'm sure.
wow. And I was thinking while she was speaking, so I'll share this with you. I was thinking that as a mother, no matter what you're feeling, I was thinking, was she was talking about how her mother did it. I was thinking like, you know, you have to probably. Is that, did you feel like that
yes,
at all?
Yes.
Or am I wrong on that?
No. I felt I had to. I felt like, you know, it would be a disservice to him and his legacy for me not to speak on his behalf and what an amazing human being, you know, he was for me. He was my person. Like everybody has a person, and he was my person that brought me completion and wholeness. And if I needed anything, all I had to do is pick up the phone, and he's right there no matter what.
Right.
I need an ice cream scooper. And he's like, all right, Mom, here I come. An ice cream scooper. You know, who does that? But it was more of a labor of love and respect and just something that I had to do as a mother. Because if I hadn't gotten up there and spoken, I would have never been able to, you know, I wouldn't have rested. And I want him to rest, but I want his memory to stay alive, you know?
Yeah.
But how?
Yeah.
You know? So that's my goal. My journey is to figure out how to keep his memory alive.
What are some things and thoughts you've had so far on that? Like, I'm sure it's been since July, you said. So you probably already started, and maybe not even like publicly, maybe just the process of some ideas on how to keep it alive.
Yeah, there's a couple ways. He was and his stepbrother died in January. He was shot and killed in January. They were both into the trades. And so they both were there, you know, working on the house and doing things to help me around, you know, my other properties and things. So something to the effect of helping young men get involved in the trades and to keep them off the streets. Because Marcus, my stepson, he was killed by gunfire. and Chad was shot at. My son was shot at, but the bullet didn't kill him. The whole episode, we don't know exactly what caused him to either have an asthma attack or some sort of panic attack, whatever it was. But when he was in the back of the police car, he couldn't breathe, but he didn't get any medical attention. So that's the goal, is to figure out what happened there, but also to make sure keeping the things that he loved to do. And one of the things was working with his hands and football. So between the two, I want to do something to that effect. Maybe a summer camp, because Marcus was also into football. He played for the Northside Rocket football, and Chad played for the Eastside Raiders and Kalamazoo Central. They both played for Kalamazoo Central. So somewhere in there is something. I just haven't quite put my finger on it yet, but as time goes on, I will.
Yeah, something traits. I think, you already love, you liked talking about, sharing about Janice. And
no, she was the one that was helping him finish up his builder's license. So he finished the classes. Yep, he finished the classes online, and she was going to walk him through the testing process.
Wow.
And during COVID, he finished all the classes and things, and he took some time to finish and get some money together and work. Of course, with the children, having children, you got to work and pay for them.
Right.
And so she was, going to help him finish it up. And so that's why I speak with her frequently.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'll pick her brain a little bit more, see what she says. There's another gentleman, Orlando Little. He works in the community and does a lot. So I did talk to him about coming up with, he already has a concept, but maybe piggybacking on that concept because he knew both of them my boys. So yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, getting started on something that's not maybe the thing, and then it kind of leads into the thing.
I figured it'll morph into what it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's just trying to figure out where to start, and then it's just hard because his memory is just like, it hits home. But I definitely am going to do something. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And going back to the strong piece of what we were talking about, I would say that what you were sharing, so it goes over people's heads when you're strong and stuff like that. And recently I was putting some thought into that, and what is it that helps me in that, and it's like the people around me I think when I was younger, being strong, it would go over people's heads so much, and then you don't get checked on, you don't get taken care of, and now where I'm at right now is kind of like, okay, well, we're all kind of strong and I would say more resilient, right? Resilience, a better word. Yeah. And so we have to be not just for things that have happened, but things that we were creating, right? And things that we push ourselves to with new levels and stuff. So I think that a lot of the circles of friends that I have and stuff and that I move in have an understanding to check on you and stuff and pour into you and remind you to pour into yourself.
Oh yeah,
and, right.
And my village is strong, and it's no coincidence that two of my dearest friends lost their only child.
Wow.
They're boys, and so they have been they both are very protective of me and my space, and making sure I make time for me, and making time to sure I get time away to kind of rejuvenate myself and fill myself up. But again, I'm trying to make sure that the grandkids are okay, and my daughter's okay, and his other siblings are okay. But then again, I need to really make sure I'm okay, and then that'll help them feel better. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Because everybody checks on me. My village is very strong. I mean, they really they stepped up during this process because everybody loved him. Everybody. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a beautiful job you did as a mom with I'm sure all your kids. What an amazing job.
And I was the person that had all the kids at my house, like all the football players, cheerleaders, all of them at my house. So you could walk down the street any given day and somebody's going to yell down the street, "Mom!" I'm like, oh my goodness, which child is this? Because my doors were always open for the kids because I wanted to know where they were. I didn't want to be in the streets running around acting a fool. So if I knew where they were, I was happy. And so that's why a lot of them, if they didn't have a meal, if they didn't have a place to stay, my house was always open. So
I love that.
And Chad knew that. My kids didn't bring animals home. They brought in people. A lot of kids bring home, I brought home a dog or a cat. No, mine brought other children. Yeah. So I love them. They get on my nerves, but I love them.
So good. This is so cool that you're sharing with me how you were the house. You know, it's interesting because I'm listening and like, okay, she's a grandma, you know, she's loved. This is how they grew up. Because that's what I've been like working on cultivating the whole time. I'm like, okay, like this gets to be the hub and my home gets to be the hub. And, you know, I started, when I started trying to figure that out, I started studying food and how to cook more because I started noticing like how much food made my son happy and like the care and the service of the food. So like I have been for the past 2 years like learning all these different things about cooking and like trying to become like Miss Martha Stewart, you know. And then also like his friends have been coming over more and like, oh, mom's making breakfast, you know, like that kind of thing. And it's just really cool because I always thought when he was younger, like if he winds up going to other people's houses, I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know who he's hanging out with. I don't know who what these parents are like. Because I remember when I was a kid, you'd go to friends' houses and some of these parents like let their kids do whatever. And my mom used to be like, well, maybe they just don't care about them like I care about you.
No, I got to know the parents. I got to talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm even going to peek my head in the door. You know, I might pop up while you're over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was that helicopter parent because you don't, you know, not everybody raises their kids the same.
No. Some people are just like, okay, I did my job. There's a roof, you know, there's food, or not even that. Some of them, you know, I mean, I'm raising the 40-year-old, the 50-year-old. I'm raising my grandchildren. You know, I'm like, okay, what am I doing now that's going to affect my great grandchildren through you, through the choices I make, and you know, because I remember stuff from this high in my mind.
I remember, and I remember how different. I grew up in an all-white community, and I remember going to people's houses, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. They were like chip beef or something. And I was like, oh, but it was so different.
Yeah,
you know, and they thought all we ate was fried chicken. I'm like, no, you know, pot roast, steak. You know, all these great things. And my dad ground our own meat. He was really, you know, funny about it. He just wanted to do something extra. But the cultural differences were drastic. Even grilled cheese sandwiches. I was like, what kind of cheese is that? Our cheese don't look like that. Because you know, we'd have the sliced cheese, American cheese or whatever. And, you know, my friends would have all this weird different, like, Swiss cheese. I was like, oh, we don't eat cheese with holes in it. So that's me being spoiled too. So yeah, the differences are drastic, especially then and now. Yeah, I can see the difference from when I raised my children, and my granddaughter lives with me, and she's 14, and I see the difference. You know, a lot of it is social media, but it's just also the parents are much younger. And so it's like babies raising babies out there. Yeah. And it's scary. Yeah. It is scary.
And a different world. It's a way different world. Just keeping them away from electronics is like, whoa.
Yeah,
you know?
I have to literally just like hide my grandson's phone. Like, who gives a 7-year-old a phone in the first place? Which I thought was the most insane thing. He calls me, he's like, baby, I got a phone for Christmas. I said, that's stupid. He's like, huh? I'm like, oh, wonderful. Like, who does that? Because now his attention is on the cell phone and not the other things that he likes to do. He likes to play outside, play football, all these other things. Now he's stuck on this phone. Yeah. So I hide it.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. I went and got my son this little itty bitty, like I researched, I was like, how can I get him a phone where I can reach him? And it's like back in the day. And I ordered it off of Amazon, and it was so tiny and crazy, and it didn't have any features, and the screen was like that small. I was like, if you're going to look at something inappropriate, you're going to have to look with a magnifying
really
glass.
Closely,
you know? And so I took it to T-Mobile. I was like, can you? And they're like, we can hook this up. I took it home, and he like never wants to answer it, and it keeps getting lost, you know, because who wants to answer it in front of people, you know? Of course. So he calls me from other people's phones mostly, you know. Of course. Phone's missing again.
Of course. Because he wants the real phone, like
I'm sure.
Yeah, and the only reason I got my granddaughter a phone is because she would go like with her mom or with her dad, and I need to know where she's at. I'm making sure I see her location, see where she's at, who she's with, you know. So for me, it was a safety issue. And then she was after school, and I couldn't get in touch with her, and so I was like, nah. And so she's very responsible, hasn't lost it, hasn't broken it. I slammed it in the car door by mistake, but that's me. Russian.
So I want to know a little bit more about the BACC. Like, I want to know, what is in store for you guys next. What are you most excited about? And definitely, let's share like all about what you want people, like where you want them to find you and all of that.
So we are in our 40th year. So we've been around for 40 years, which is a true testament to the organization's fortitude. Because, I mean, the Douglas Community Center has been around 100 years. And so we're right behind that. And I am actually honored to sit in that seat, because I used to, come to the events and see the things. And I looked at these people like they were just these amazing human beings. Never once did I think that I'd be sitting in the seat. Never once. Never in a million years. And so I look at the lineage of these people that were so instrumental in this community. I was like, wow. And my son told me, he's like, Mom, you are the executive director of the Black Arts and Cultural Center. I was like, yeah. He's like, no. I want you to think about that. And so he made me realize how important it was to sit in the seat and really take it seriously.
Yes.
He's like, you might be interim, but you're there for a reason. Own it. I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I'm so excited about the 40th. I'm so excited about this year's festival. The Black Arts Festival is what we're known for. So it was started with a group of individuals that wanted to really highlight Black artists and their talents and has showcased that. And so it started, the very first Black Arts Festival was what started the organization. And they were just a committee at first, and they wanted to really just, be a part of the community. Well, after the festival, they saw that there was still a need. And so they formed their nonprofit, the Black Arts and Cultural Center. And so that's where we, the 40 years came in now. The biggest transformation, I think, is with our programming. Like I said, Face Off Theater Company was a program under the Black Arts and Cultural Center, and now they're their own entity. And I feel like that's what we should have been doing all along. And so I'm trying to get back to that, helping those smaller nonprofits become, a real entity. So it might start with a program. It might just start with, we've got an organization, One Goal, which is a small nonprofit, but it focuses on kids and healthy choices for kids. So activities that are fun. We did a paint party for the babies, and we had them painting, and we gave them healthy foods, fruits and all these good things. We've got the BU Foundation that works on teenagers. And so that's the teenagers that fall between the cracks. So between the time that they graduate high school and age out of the foster care system, they get kind of lost in the cracks. And so there's opportunities for them to go to school, clothing, all the things that they get through the foster care system that they now don't get anymore. That's the BU Foundation works with that. So I'm excited about working with these organizations to bring them into the organization as a program, and then create their own nonprofit. BU Foundation is a nonprofit already, but One Goal is really working towards becoming one. So let's see how we can help them become one.
Yes.
And then just really highlighting our legacy. And that's why this month was the Legends, because it was important to say where we came from, how we started, why the organization still exists. And then really, what do we need to do to stay relevant in these times? Because there's a lot of organizations very similar to ours doing very similar things. So my goal is to partner with those organizations and really us interweave ourselves to be better and stronger together. Because we're going all after the same pot of money. We're all doing a lot of the same programming. But if we partner and collaborate more, I think that all of our organization will benefit. Sharing our resources, making sure the youth have multiple things to do and ways to get there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about for this next, 9 months left in the year, is that we can focus on really highlighting the strengths of the organization. I really want to push our membership. We don't charge for our programs. If we do, it's very minimal. Our comic creators, the youth have an opportunity to create their own comic book character and then make a book of that and then sell it at the Black Arts Festival and at other, things we have throughout the year. And if we really are looking at, making sure our children are having things to do, then we give them an opportunity to use their creativity. And that's where the comic creators comes in. Yeah, and we've got some talented young folks out there. So that's my goal for 2026 and forward. The membership piece, Black Arts, blackartskalamazoo.org is our website. And everything is there. You can rent our space, become a member, become a partner. And a partner, if you're a community-based organization or an organization in itself, a larger donation will allow you to use our space 2 times and also, be highlighted on our website, highlighted at our Black Arts Festival. One of our major sponsors for this year's festival is Bronson Hospital. And so we're going to highlight them. They're going to be involved in a lot of smaller things that we do throughout the year, because it's important that we don't get funding. We don't get large dollars. Everything is foundation-based, grant-based, and membership-based. Because not charging for our programming makes it affordable for our youth to be able to come. Like I was talking about, although the Civic is a great program and it's phenomenal, our students can't afford to go there. So we can provide some scholarships. But what if we can help in creating some very similar programming that are geared towards our kids?
Yeah. This is incredible work you're doing for the community. Like, this is absolutely mind-blowing. I'm so happy that you agreed to interview with us. Like, people get to know about what it is you're doing. Yeah. There's so many layers to it.
It's so many layers, and there's so much more we can do. But our capacity is so limited a lot of times just because it's only 2 people run the organization. And so if we can increase our internal structure and our infrastructure, then we can be better in the community. But having such a small staff, we're limited. And that's why partnering is helping us tremendously, because Face Off is going to bring their youth programming into the Black Arts and Cultural Center, meaning now we can host a program. We've got the artists that can teach the program. We can pay the artists. But now I don't have to go out and try to find an artist to teach the class. I don't have to find the students because they have a following. So we just bring that particular program inside and then, expand on it.
Yeah.
So instead of having 1 workshop, maybe we'll have 4.
Okay. Well, I hope you let me know, like, if there's anything I can do
Absolutely.
During the if you see a connection at any point, I'd love to contribute in any way.
PMN is doing podcast workshops, and so I'd love to have the kids learn how to do that. Our kids learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Because everybody's into YouTube. Everybody's into, making TikTok videos and Reels and all these things. And so if they could see how they can monetize it or how they can, really make a difference in something they're passionate about.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah. I love that. That. It's great. Let me know.
I will.
Okay. So where should people go to find you? At the storefront and just online, all of those things.
So our beautiful, beautiful gallery space is located at the corner of Lovell and Burdick. It's 359 South Kalamazoo Mall, and we're on the very main floor. And we sit at the corner, so we kind of look at the State Theater. We can see the State Theater, like kitty corner there. Like, you can't miss the big great windows, and we always have artwork in the windows. And it's starting to be more noticeable. So I make sure that, there's art facing the windows so you can walk by and people stop and say, oh my, that's beautiful. We're open Tuesday through Friday, and every first Friday we have a gallery opening with a new artist. So I encourage folks to come down for that. We're always available for Art Hop, which is every other month now. And so the next one is March, and we will be open March 1st, or I think it's the 6th, March 6th, with the Merze Tate gallery exhibit with, focusing
Awesome.
on those
Merze
vintage
Tate.
cars. Yes, that's going to be phenomenal. And the photography that the young ladies took and the different things that they did with that. They're going to talk about the heritage of the cars and individuals that made the cars. And so I'm putting together the exhibit for that now. But again, it's www.blackartskalamazoo.org. And that's our website. Brand new website. It's beautiful. Yes, I had it redone, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's about almost a year old now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out.
Yep, and you can become a member on there. You can donate on there. I'm going to do a big 40th push starting next month. So $40, 40 cents, whatever you want to give, to keep the organization flowing through this 40th anniversary would be phenomenal.
Yeah, you know what I'd say to that is sometimes when people think about donating, they think their amount can't do anything, so they don't. But I always imagine, like, okay, well, you said $40, 40 cents. Like, if a certain amount of people, if all you had was 40 cents or $4, doing that over and over, it multiplies, right? Rather than nothing, because you can't do 40 or 400 or 4,000, right? And so I always, like to remind people that you can do something. Everyone can do something typically. typically, right? And so, yeah.
And I did one, when I first started, I did one, I think it was $10. And I said, if everybody that likes this message or likes this post gave $10, I said, and there's 300 people that gave, just imagine now our organization, now we can host another event, and now we can, buy some more supplies, more art supplies for the children. It says a lot about what we can do. And that's why the festival is so important too. We charge minimal for the booths. We don't charge any entry fee, but it's a way to give back to the community too. And it's like a big family reunion.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm so happy you came. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to seeing the podcast, seeing you. I think you're going to do some phenomenal work. I just feel like it's going to be a really, really big thing. So thank you.
That means a lot. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Okay, Sandbox friends, that's it for today. In the meantime, head on over to the Sandbox Collective Podcast.com. And also make sure you check out our information in the description or the show notes all about our sponsors and our guests below. See you next time.